The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now your hosts, Barry Church, Danny McCray, and Newey Scruggs.
Dang, my name can't be added. Can we get my name on there?
Yeah, we're going to throw you on there for sure.
Can we get my name?
We're going to throw you on there for sure.
Before next week, please.
I
thought I made the final roster, but guess not.
It took us a long time to get our names put on there.
Yeah, let me tell you, we still can't get in the building. Right?
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Players Lounge. I am Britt Johnson. I am the newest person on the show. I'm excited to be here. This is my first day hosting. Newey is out today, vacation. Is that what we're saying?
He's on assignment.
We're going to call it assignment.
On assignment.
All we know is he ain't here.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
He's headed to the game. He's probably getting a little bit better weather than we're having in Dallas today.
Yeah, it was clapping this morning.
Yeah.
It was definitely clapping.
I just moved here, so I'm not used to thunder and lightning and stuff in the summertime.
Are you dealing with the heat right now? Like, is it?
Ask my hair how I'm doing. But I am joined with Barry Church and Danny McCray. What's up, guys?
Nothing, chilling, beautiful. Like, the day might not be as beautiful, but we're that much closer to Tampa Bay. We're that much closer to regular season action. I know I'm excited. Danny?
Look, I woke up this morning, bro, and I had a little pep in my step. I'm not going to lie to you, man, because one, the season starts tomorrow for us, all right?
That's true.
All the stuff that we've been talking about on the Players Lounge, we're going to get to see who's right and who's wrong, depending on the first game,
it's
right?
Nut cutting time.
Also, fantasy football is starting tomorrow, right?
Cool.
I'm in a few leagues, and I'm just really excited. Every time fantasy football comes around, I can't get sleep. I'm wondering if I should make a trade, who I should start, who I shouldn't. So I'm amped
Cooper. I need you the ball, baby. I need you.
Well, that actually leads me into what I first want to talk about. I have a couple of apologies to make on this show. My first one is going to be to Will Greer, just because I think last week I got a little out of hand, just a little bit, because I think it was more about me wanting Cam Newton than it was me not wanting Will Greer.
Okay.
Because I am a firm believer everybody ends up where they're supposed to be. So he is supposed to be here. He is here for a reason. We might not know what that is yet, but I am giving him an opportunity. I hope he does well if he has a chance to play. Unfortunately, I hope he doesn't have a chance to play.
Exactly. We don't want to see him out there.
But my second one is actually going to be an apology to you, just because you were right. Chip Kelly.
Right about what?
Chip Kelly did turn around that UCLA team because they beat the LSU Tigers 38-27. Did you watch the game?
I mean, listen, I watched it, and it was very disappointing. Okay, we came out, we started the game right. Our defense was playing good. We were making some plays on offense. And then we came out after halftime, and we could not figure out how to get ourselves back in the game.
What happened with Brad Johnson's son out there?
Yeah, man.
He won the job in camp? He won that quarterback job in camp?
He did a behind-that-back pass.
He thought it was Pat Mahomes?
He thought he was Pat Mahomes. He couldn't get his feet set. He was throwing the ball all over the place. He did not look good in his first start of the season.
What was the most disappointing part about that game?
The most disappointing part to me was when things started to fall apart, our defense fell apart as well. Yeah. We usually hang our hat on defense, minus the 1 year when we had the best offense in college football. We usually hang our hat on defense, and we have not been able to get back on track of being that defense that LSU is known for.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody run the ball that, against LSU especially. Usually y'all come with it every time.
Maybe Chip Kelly's coming back.
Yeah,
so,
listen.
I did not believe that was going to happen.
We fired our defensive coordinator last year. We lost Dave Aranda to Baylor, and then we brought in Bo Pelini, and that didn't work. So now we're on to the next, and we're going to see if we can get this shaking, better throughout the season. But we'll be back.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the Tigers. Okay?
Well, you guys dropped out of the top 25 in the AP poll, so let's see if you guys could get back up there.
Listen, we got Bama, we got Florida, we got some teams on our schedule that if we beat, we'll be. How did Fresno State do?
You know what? We were playing 11th ranked school, okay? Mm-hmm. And we, in the fourth quarter, were winning the game. Mm-hmm. So I thought we played well, considering, because we are not ranked. We are not supposed to be a good squad, and we were playing the 11th team in college football, and I think they did a darn good job. But Ohio State won, and I told you I support the Ohio State Buckeyes.
She got 18.
Okay.
I don't understand
Yeah,
that.
okay. All right. Well, apology accepted.
Did North
It
Carolina
was
win?
like a shade, Paul.
Did North Carolina win?
I do UNC for basketball only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
We gotta, I have to separate.
Pick and
them.
choose
I have to
fan
separate-
bases,
yes.
huh?
Yeah.
All right, it's all good.
But I'm loyal to once I pick them. Those are my teams forever, win or lose.
Toledo won. I'll tell y'all that right now. And we about to smack Notre Dame next week.
You won't win this week.
Oh, you crazy? We ain't FSU now.
Let
We
me
ain't
tell
going
you
out like that.
Amari Cooper has a better chance of being the best receiver in the league than y'all do of beating
Two
Notre
things is
Dame.
going to happen, all right? We're going to beat Notre Dame, and Amari Cooper going to give me fantasy points. Those
That's
are the
cool.
two things that is going to happen this year.
I'm sorry, because I stole that segue. My bad.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I stole
we'll
that
get
segue.
to Amari Cooper later
Okay.
in the show. I want to start the show off with Zach Martin. He was placed on COVID protocol this past Sunday. Stephen Jones said yesterday he still is slightly hopeful that he will get to play in the game tomorrow. He said if he has those 2 negative tests, he's symptom-free, and it goes up till tomorrow, they will put him on a plane tomorrow to go to the game.
Let me tell you something.
What are your guys' thoughts? Let me know what this means for the offense. Do you think that he possibly will play, even though he hasn't practiced all week? What are your thoughts?
Let me tell you something. Zach Martin ain't playing in this game coming up. He ain't. I don't know what's going on. Private jets. I don't know what's going. He ain't playing in this game. All right, he'll be back for week 2. Now the implications of that, to me, are huge because look, Zach Martin to me is the best offensive lineman we have. I know we got Tyron Smith and all that good stuff, but Zach Martin is that for sure Hall of Fame.
Don't bring up Tyron Smith and best offensive lineman on the team.
Is he gonna do
again.
it like that? That's
all
how
right.
he
Go
gonna
ahead.
do it?
I just want to make sure.
Anyways, Zach Martin's the best guy we got. And this defensive line for Tampa Bay, they were going to be a handful even with a healthy Zach Martin right there. Now, he's out of the game, and we got to figure out ways that we're going to be able to run the ball and pass the ball against a bona fide stud of a group. And you got Ndamukong Suh, Vita Vea, JPP, Shaq Barrett coming off the edge like that. It's going to be tough. But what we're going to have to do, and in my opinion, we're going to have to lay our hat on Kellen Moore here. This is where that creativity and that offensive coordinator, his brilliant mind, genius mind, it's going to have to show right here because we're going to have to be able to run the football. We can't just let Dak Prescott sit back there for 40-some attempts trying to pick apart this Tampa Bay defense. It's just not going to work that way. We're going to have to find a way to run the ball, and that's when that creativity comes, whether it's counter plays, whether it's draw plays, something like that has to happen because we can't just beat these guys man on man, bone on bone, and expect to get some push in the run game. It's just not going to happen, especially without Zach Martin. So, Kellen Moore, I'm going to need you to show up. This ain't Madden now. We're going to have to show up.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here, okay? I'm with Jerry and Steven, all right? If this man gets another negative test, all right,
Fifth was a fifth, man.
he will be on a private jet. You can bet your last that as soon as they see negative, he's gonna be on some G5, something to get him there as fast as possible. He will be suited up and he will be playing.
He's gonna be suited up on the jet.
And you know how they come out in the movies at halftime with all the gear on, Waterboy, yeah, came out.
Strap up real quick.
He's going to be on the field, and they will be running right behind him for the entire game.
The entire game. Who's on top of that man right now?
Yeah. Listen. When you're talking about one of the best offensive linemen in the league, not just for the Cowboys, the best in the league. Yes, if we're going to say he's the best, no matter who's lined up on top of him, we need to be able to run. We also do have. We still have Tyron Smith. We still have Leo Collins. We still have a good defensive line. So we won't be just leaning on Zach Martin, but I believe that he will be in the game and we will be running behind him. Shout out to Zeke because he's going to be making some plays.
Because it's going to be, it's not just Vita Vea and Sue over top of him. You got Devin White, Levante David right there as well.
And let me get to that, okay? Britt knows. Listen, the NFL changes year in and year out.
That's true. Update your resume.
Just because team was good last year and they bring it back all the same guys that they had last year doesn't mean that they're going to have the same production as they had last year this year. And what we know about the league is every team, every year, focuses on getting better. That's why we have the NFL draft, because teams want to look for positions where they can get better. So you can best believe that we and other teams in the league have gotten better at those positions, and it will look a lot different than it did last year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think it's going to start with week 1.
Well, to your point, not just teams but players get better too. What do you guys think about Conor? Do you guys not have enough faith in him? I mean, he did play in 8 games last year, and I want to believe that people go to practice and work hard and whatever, and he got a little rust knocked off last year by playing in those 8 games. 6 of them was because Zach Martin was hurt. So wouldn't you think that, or wouldn't you want to believe that a guy like that could step up in a situation if need be? Yes, Tampa Bay had, 8 players in the NFL top 100, which I don't love lists all the time because, again, they're basing that off of what last year looked like, and we hope things change from last year. But the majority of those guys were defensive guys for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm nervous about Conor Williams because to me personally, I don't think he has enough bricks in his pocket. I don't think he's heavy enough out there. And you're going to get these 2 guys. It just makes me nervous. If we were all healthy as a whole group and we've been playing, because these guys haven't played as a whole group since 2019. Mm-hmm. So if their chemistry was all rolling together, I'd be like, all right, we can hide Conor Williams now. But seeing as though this team hasn't had that chemistry, they haven't had that continuity in so long, and we might not see Zach Martin out there, it's going to be kind of hard to kind of hide a Conor Williams from getting exposed. Now, will he be able to step up? I'm hoping so, because that's going to be a huge factor in whether we're going to be able to get production out of our offense, is if we're going to be able to run the ball or protect Dak Prescott behind this O-line. So I'm hoping he's productive, but he makes me nervous a little bit. So our starting offensive line will be Tyron Smith. Yep.
Conor Williams.
I thought it was Conor McGovern. That's who I was talking about.
Conor McGovern?
Yeah.
They
both
bricks.
Played, yeah.
Yeah, and then Lael, right? So it'll be Conor McGovern if Zach is out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? And then Lael, all right?
Yeah.
Because Biadasz is the center.
Not sure I believe in any of the Connors, okay?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Not sure. They you have the opportunity every time you go and step on the field to prove us wrong of what we're saying. Mm-hmm. But as of now, like you said, I think they have some really, really good talent that will be lined up on top of them. It's going to be hard for them to get that movement. That's why I'm really, really hoping that Zach Martin is available to play in this game, because I think he's going to bring that leadership to the offensive line. And I think our only chance of winning is if we have our full deck of weapons out there, so we can get that line of scrimmage moved. Because if we don't, it's going to be a long game for us. So
Britt, you might know this better than I do, or Danny. How does that protocol? So since he's vaxxed and all that other stuff, is it like he has to do 5 days, and within those 5 days he has to have 2 negative tests?
He just has to have, from what I know, and again it changes all the time, so I could be wrong today of something that was said tomorrow or yesterday. But he just has to have, basically in these next 48 hours, he has to have 2 negative tests. And he has to be symptom-free. Okay. So I believe he tested yesterday, so I think he just needs a test today. And I don't know what he tested yesterday. He could have tested positive yesterday. Yeah, that's true. So they could be waiting on a negative test today and a negative test tomorrow morning. So.
I'm with Jerry and Steve. My fingers are crossed, all right? I'm with Jerry and Steven. Listen, I can only be optimistic if I want us to play as well as I think we're going to play tomorrow. So my optimism is stuck to Jerry and Stevens, and I hope that we have Zach Martin out there. If not, shout out to Kellen Moore. Like you said,
you got to be creative.
Stuff out.
With the passing game, he's going to have to get it out of Dak hands quick. Yeah. 3-step drops. We can't sit there and let them be lunch for these boys out there. So
yeah, and
we'll
Stephen Jones said yesterday too that only 3 players on 53 plus the practice squad have not started. They're getting vaccinated yet. So hopefully this is something that we're not going to have to continue to deal with week in and week out throughout this season. Keys to game, you guys. What are you guys thinking? Danny?
Man, listen.
Offense, defense, let me know
Let me tell you something. So overall, the number one thing we have to do is win the turnover battle. Okay?
Without a doubt.
We have to take care of the ball, and we have to take the ball away from the other team, which leads me back to when I say we have to make those opportunities on those big plays when we get them. When somebody's carrying the ball loose, you got to go and try to cause that fumble. If Tom Brady gets the ball swatted up in the air, we need to have somebody there to catch that ball. Like, we need to make every big play opportunity and maximize it when we can, or we don't have a chance. We also need to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
It's gonna be tough.
We need to get some movement so we can run the ball with Zeke, get Tony Pollard in there, get him some yards, and we also need to control the rush on the defensive side of the ball. Rush and cover, they work together. So if we can get that rush, stop the run, and force Tom Brady to have to throw some passes that he doesn't want to throw, then I think we have a better chance at winning and making some plays on the ball. I think if we do that, we have a very, very good chance of winning. If not, we have a very good chance of getting blown out.
The pressure for sure is key. Last season, Tom Brady had 9 interceptions in the 5 losses that they had. So clearly putting that pressure on him makes him make those mistakes, and that's going to equal, hopefully, a win for us.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think we need to do 3 things defensively. I think especially to be able to stop the GOAT. I think we got to limit those big plays. Now, that's going to be huge because these guys boast a trio of receivers that, might be 1 and 2 in the league. When you got Godwin, when you got Antonio Brown, Evans, and those boys out there, they're huge receivers. And what we know about our corners, they're not the biggest. Outside of Diggs, we got a lot of nickel body type corners out there. So it's going to be a lot of jump balls, I think, that's going to happen out there. And we got to be able to limit those. If we can limit those and also limit that yak, because what Tom Brady is great at. He's great at getting the ball out of his hands quick and letting his space players do damage out there. So we can't let a 3 to 4 yard pass turn into a 15 to 20 yard gain. That's how we ended up getting destroyed last year, and we cannot let that happen going forward. And the third thing with defensively we need middle pressure. We know that's what affects Tom Brady. It's not much of the edges because he can step up in the pocket with the best of them. He has that pocket presence. He's seen so many defenses. He knows where his guys are supposed to be. So we need to get that up front pressure. That's how those guys back, when he was with the Patriots, and that's how L.A. used to beat him with the Rams. They used to come in with Aaron Donald and put all that pressure up the middle. And that's what we're going to have to do. But we don't have a Neville Gallimore.
I was going to say with who?
That's what I'm saying. We don't have a Neville Gallimore. We need guys like Osa. I don't want to destroy his last name, so I'm just gonna call him Osa. We need him to go and step up. Maybe Brent Urban, Bohanna. Those guys need to step up and get that front middle pressure on Tom if we want to distract him from any type of passing game. Now those are gonna be some hard things to do. Offensively, hey, we just gonna have to eat. That off the line, hey, y'all gonna have to come together, get that chemistry going. Dak do what he got to do out there. Let these receivers eat because we got options. We can match them. Offensively for offense, we can match them. My worry about is the defense and how we're gonna get pressure on this guy and how we're going to limit those big plays.
I'll tell you, okay? I'll tell you.
All right, let me know the secret,
because my man DQ, okay? He has figured some things out with my man 11. If you watch that Texans game and you see Michael Parsons lined up over the center trying to confuse the count for their offensive line, that's just the beginning of the stuff that Dan Quinn is going to be doing with guys like Michael Parsons and Randy Gregory. He's going to draw up some stuff where you can get some pressure in the middle. You might see D-Law rushing on from a 3 technique. You have no idea what you're going to see from DQ, but I guarantee you he's going to have some creative stuff ready for a guy like Tom Brady because he knows you can't sit back there and let Tom Brady read your defense.
He knows better than anybody.
He knows.
He knows better than anybody. 28-3.
Yeah, twice though.
That's true.
He knows twice. He knows in winning efforts. He knows in losing efforts. And let me tell you something. They win the Super Bowl if my man Pete Carroll doesn't give the ball to try to toss it instead of give it to Marshawn Lynch. So he took that away from Dan Quinn. But back on that, Dan Quinn will have us figured out. He will have figured out for our defensive players to create some pressure up the middle because everybody knows it's harder on Tom Brady when he has to move in and out of the pocket.
Mm-hmm. This is very simple, but do you think the mind game of the numbers this year of, having Jalen Smith and Parsons in these low jersey numbers, because Tom Brady was the first one to come out and say, this is bull, I don't like this, this is, people aren't going to know who to block, who to go, nothing like that. Do you think that, because this is going to be really the first game that people have their jersey numbers and we're going to see it, do you think that that's going to play into the situation?
Listen, this is going to sound really, really bad, but I think some of the players that change their number won't be on the field that much anyways. I think you're going to see 42. I think you're going to see 11. I think the only change that he's going to really have to worry about is my man Diggs on the outside. So I don't think it's going to be that much for Tom. I think he was trying to bring up the topic, but I don't think that's a problem that he's going to have to worry about. He's a veteran guy. He knows where guys are trying to line up. He doesn't even need to know jersey numbers for him to call out who's going to be the Mike, who's going to be the Will, who to block, Randy, Larry. He doesn't need that, right? So I don't think that's going to be an issue for Tom.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that one. I think it's just kind of annoyed him a little bit. Man, I gotta, this guy number 7's right here. Right. I think it was just a little bit annoying for him. But look, this guy's been in the league 22 years. I mean, he pretty much knows every defense like the back of his hand.
The old dogs don't like to learn the new tricks.
That's true.
I think that's what it is. But speaking of young guys, really quick, I know you guys we've talked mostly about the line, but I'm really excited to see what the secondary does. Obviously, I think, like you said, these receivers are the biggest, the baddest, the fastest, all this kind of stuff for Tampa. So we have a young receiving or young secondary core, and I feel like these guys are going to really have to show up, you know what I mean? Like, they're really going to have to show up. We're going to talk about some of our key matchups after the break. We are going to go to break right now, and when we come back, I want to hear your guys' key matchups for this game, because I got a good one. It has to do with what I just mentioned, but I got a good one.
All right, let's see.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Hey Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
It's game day. You know what that means. First, kebab prep. Steak, pepper, onion, steak, pepper, onion. Next, a counterclockwise lap around the room. Now the lucky grease-stained jersey goes on. And lastly, the dance. You know the one. This is a game day ritual no matter where you are. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com and keep the tradition alive and well. Hotels.com, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Join us for a free watch party at the Miller Lighthouse at AT&T Stadium on Thursday, September 9th as your Cowboys kick off the season in Tampa Bay. Enjoy yard games, beer gardens, performances by the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, and Dallas Cowboys Rhythm and Blue, and more. Doors open at 5:30 and kickoff is at 7:20. For more information, visit attstadium.com. So I was talking a little bit about the secondary. I got a little ahead of myself and started getting excited about, the matchups. But what do you guys think about the secondary? And I feel like they have to kind of come together and work as one in this time if they're going to do anything this season. But what do you think about them just going into this game and into the rest of the season?
You got it.
You know what? I think this is a huge test for them, in the first game of the season. And I'm really not going to judge them based off what happens on Thursday night. I think that it'll be a good learning lesson for them if they do play bad. And then if they do play well, then they have something really huge to build off of, right? They get some confidence, they get some momentum. But if Tom Brady comes out, the defending Super Bowl champion, with the same roster that they had last season. We know that the receivers with Evans and Godwin, but we also know they got Gronk. We also know they got O.J. Howard. They have a really, really good receiving core. Yep. So if we face some challenges with them in week one, I'm not going to hang it up. I'm still going to believe that we can have a top 10 defense, but I do think that we're going to play a lot better than we played last season. I don't think you'll see busted coverages, guys running open all over the back, and then you'll see receivers behind us 10 yards and Tom Brady just lofting balls up for touchdowns. I don't think you'll see that. I think you'll see us breaking on balls. I think you'll see them making some catches because they do get paid as well. But I think you'll see us battling out there a lot more than you saw us do last season.
Yeah, look, I don't know about you, but I'm gonna count this regular season. I'm gonna count this game, but I do expect this secondary as a whole to play a lot better than they did last year. I mean, look, last year we knew what was going on. There was coverage busts everywhere. Half of the time, receivers were running scot-free down the middle of the field, and you're just not going to boast a good defense if you have too many coverage busts out there. And we know last year this defense was thinking too much. Everybody was scratching their head, not knowing what they were supposed to do, and it just caused this team to play slower. So as a whole, I think they have a better understanding of this defense, and I think the secondary will get their hands on a lot more footballs than they did last year. I mean, we talked about Trayvon Diggs during the offseason, how he had his hands on 14 footballs but didn't get 14 interceptions. So I expect him to take that next leap. I expect him to turn some of those pass breakups into interceptions. I expect a guy like DeMonte KZ, who came in from Dan Quinn's system and at one point led the National Football League in interceptions with 10 during the regular season. So I expect him to contribute on that takeaway front. But overall, I think this matchup is going to be a little bit tough because, like you mentioned, they boast the same guys coming back for winning that Super Bowl, and those guys are giants. And like I talked about earlier, we got a shorter staff outside of Trayvon Diggs when it comes to height on our cornerback side. So I expect this matchup to be expect this matchup to be hard, but I also don't expect guys running scot-free, and I expect if they do catch the ball, them to be contested catches. I can live with that. Like if a guy's catch makes a great catch, hey, chalk it up. He's in the NFL. So I expect that, and I do not want yards after the catch. Like that's the biggest thing to me. Like if a guy catches a 5-yard hitch, like Brown or Godwin or somebody like that, make the tackle. Boom, boom. We can live with that. We can make Tom Brady take the distance, take the 12 to 13 plays to get to the end zone. I'd rather that than a 3-play, he just shucked it up for 60 yards and a touchdown. So it's going to be a tight game, but I expect our secondary to play better.
Tell me this, because I can't really remember, but I know in Seattle that Dan Quinn wasn't one of those defensive coordinators who had their best corner.
No, didn't travel.
They stayed on the same side.
They stayed off, yeah.
Do you think that Diggs travels with Mike Evans this week?
I do not.
You see him staying on the same side. Even we got the battle with the size with AB versus Mike Evans. You think that for the entire game, no matter what happens, they're not traveling. They stand on their side.
That's just something Quinn does because he that's the one thing he can do to disguise his defense. If it's man to man and you see Diggs traveling, then that's man to man coverage because he's traveling.
Right.
But that's how Quinn disguises it because he can't really disguise it because there's always that single high safety back there. So you can't. It's either going to be zone or man, and the only thing that he can disguise is making sure his corners stay on the opposite side, so you can't tell. He traveled with him, so it must be man this time. You never know until the snap of the ball. So I don't see them traveling, but if Evans starts to go off, he starts, dogging, Brown or Jordan Lewis out there, I can see a possible switch happening.
All right, let's get into these key matchups. Now, I'm really, really excited about mine because it's Chris Godwin, and he is, like you said, big. He's fast, and I think he's going to be going up the majority of the game against Jordan Lewis, just because I feel like when it comes to those three guys, he's going to play mostly slot. Mm-hmm. So I feel like he's going to go up against Jordan Lewis, and I'm excited to see. I think this is going to be a super physical matchup between both of them, and even if they're not, they both have skills outside of what they just do in general. Mm-hmm. So I think just watching them both, even if they're not going up against each other on every single play or whatever the case is, both of them are going to be explosive to watch. I'm so excited to watch both of these guys, and especially when they're going head to head with each other, because I think both guys are super physical. And just, Lewis having to deal with at the beginning already with a guy so big, and that, you know what I mean, to start the season off, even if you're not where you need to be at right now, whatever you do in this game, if you can just hold him just a little bit, that's good enough for me. I think it's progress. I think he'll just get better and better each game after that.
I like that matchup.
I do too.
And I'll tell you this. I have faith in Jordan Lewis because I can remember 2 years ago when we were watching the guy play and we were like, he's a ball guy. He might get beat here, he might get beat there, but he can recover, and he's a guy who's going to make plays on the ball. Now, we saw that drop-off last year, but we also saw that drop-off for everybody last year, right? And I think that we got some new coaches in here who knows what the hell they're talking about, and I think you're going to see an increase in production from a guy like Jordan Lewis, and I think it's going to start tomorrow night.
Yeah, he's a savvy guy too. Like, he's a savvy veteran. He knows how to get all the the little slight tugs here and there. Wear the same color jerseys as your opposing team, so they don't catch you for the holding penalties. All that type of stuff. That's a great matchup to look at.
The same color gloves.
Okay.
You gotta. Hey, I was a holder. All right?
Right. Every time he'd be like,
"What you mean? What me? Hey, I was holding everything."
What do you think, Barry?
My matchup going into this one, it's got to be, for me, it's got to be our linebackers. I don't know how many of them are going to play. There's 4 of them they say are starting, but our linebackers versus basically the core of Tampa Bay, which is their 2 tight ends, Gronkowski and Howard, and their slew of backs back there. I mean, they got Gionard Bernard for playoff Lenny, for Fournette, and then LSU. They also got, Ronald Jones back there. And last year, we saw this plenty of time. We talked about it a lot last year. Our linebackers were exposed on third down when backs came out of the backfield and they had to cover them one-on-one. Now, with the addition of, a Neal, a Parsons, a Cox, we got more athleticism. We got more speed out there to be able to handle these routes against third downs. So I want to see if we're going to be able to man up on these guys, because it makes it a lot easier. If your linebackers can man up and take the backs out and take the tight ends out of the game, then your secondary can play a lot more fluid. They can play a lot easier because they don't have to worry about, man, should I help out this linebacker? He's going against Gronk. He's going against Howard. Oh, but I also got this guy on the outside. You can pretty much focus on what you got to do. So that's going to be an intriguing matchup for me. Hopefully, they don't get exposed like they did last year, because this is a tough matchup with these backs and tight ends. But you know what? I'm going to lean towards Keanu Neal and Parsons to get the job done.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. That's why I think that we'll see a lot of 42-11 in the game.
Yeah.
Because I think if you go back and watch Tom Brady, specifically with the Patriots, when he had guys like Hernandez and Gronk at the same time, they were famous for coming out in 12 personnel, which is 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, but lining up and empty.
Right? Spreading you out.
Right? Mm-hmm. So they will force your linebackers to have to get in there and cover. They wouldn't let you get out in nickel. They will force you to get in your regular base package and go out there and cover those 2 guys. And I can see that happening with O.J. Howard and Gronkowski tomorrow night.
And what do we know about Tom? If he catches you in a package that he knows he can expose, like if you're in your base package and he's like, oh, hold up, I'm putting my foot on the gas. We hurrying up. We ain't giving you an opportunity to sub guys in and out. So that's going to be something to watch.
Right. But my matchup, man, is really based off last year, because I think this is going to really tell us where our team's going to go this year. And it's our run defense versus their run offense. Oof. I think that is a huge part of our season and how we're going to what's going to determine if we are able to make the playoffs or make the Super Bowl. And we need to be able to stop them. I'm going to continue to say that controlling the line of scrimmage is huge. And for us on defense, we make Tom Brady one-dimensional, where he has to come out and throw the ball 50 times. We have a better chance of winning this game. If we let them run it on first down for 5, running on second down for 3, and they continue to get us in those third and shorts, it's going to be a long game for us and a high-scoring game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So when we come back in here and we talk about this game, the first thing that I'm going to look at is our rush yards per attempt. All right, if we can keep them under 3.3 was Rob and everything. We keep them under 3.3, then we should have a good chance of winning this game. If not, if you start to see 4 and 5, then you know exactly what happened. Right, we got beat by 40. So that's my matchup, man. Our run defense versus their run offense.
Awesome. Well, we are going to take another quick break. We have a shorter show today, just 45 minutes. So we're going to get a break in real quick, because when we come back, we are talking about the greatest receiver in the game.
Yes.
Organic pumpkin smoothies are back at Smoothie King, with at least 13 grams of protein each and 5 options to choose from. It's easy to find a favorite to help you reach your goals, like the new Keto Champ Pumpkin, packed with a whopping 23 grams of protein and 9 net carbs. It's a quick and nutritious meal on the go. So order online or through the app for pickup or delivery. And power up with pumpkin and protein. Official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys. Smoothie King. Rule the day.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with United Ag and Turf. Before you can park yourself in front of the game, park yourself in a John Deere and power through your chores. Our Land Run package is a 1025R, 25 horsepower tractor with a loader, rotary cutter, and a box blade for $229 a month. And the price you see is the price you'll pay, no surprises. So don't miss another kickoff.
Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com. Offer ends February 1st, 2021. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Now let's get to work.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Does your Cowboys fandom go beyond the game? The NFL Fan of the Year contest presented by Captain Morgan is back, and we're relaunching the search for one extraordinary Cowboys fan, it'll probably be me, who is a positive influence and inspires through their love of the game. Nominate yourself or others for a chance to win a trip to Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles. Nominate today at DallasCowboys.com/fan of the year. I expect you guys to both nominate me. I'm just saying.
I got to see your fandom.
Can an employee win?
I have to see your fandom first.
You
got to prove
this
your
Cowboys
fandom.
Nation, right?
You know, because tomorrow's game day, I'll see you in the office. Okay, if you don't have on some Cowboys gear.
I have to work. I have to be dressed.
Hey, let me say something. You work here at the Dallas Cowboys now, okay? Mm-hmm. So on game day, you might be expected to have on some Cowboys gear.
I have to work on camera, though.
Okay, all right.
So just...
You got a button? Oh,
I do have...
You got your lanyard on. You got your lanyard on.
Yeah, I have my lanyard, and then I have buttons. I got a button. I'll put a button on. I got a bunch of buttons just on my desk set up, ready to go.
Yeah. I got to see it. I got to see it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of something we got to see what Amari Cooper is about to do this season, because earlier this week he said there's a difference between thinking you're the best and actually going out there and proving it. Do I think I'm the best? Yes. Have I proven it? I wouldn't say I have. What are your guys' thoughts? Because people only took a little piece of that quote, so I wanted to make sure I read the whole thing. He said he does think he is the best, but has he proven it? Is that an oxymoron? Can we say that in the same sentence?
Yeah, you can say it, and I agree with the second part. Absolutely. You know, he has not proven that he's the best receiver in the league. Now, when the Dallas Cowboys made the trade to get him from Oakland at the time, and he came here, he changed our team. He took us rolling.
Him and Dak Prescott.
Yes, he was unstoppable, all right? And then ever since then, we've seen to where he hasn't been that game-changing type of guy consistently. Mm-hmm. Like, you'll see him make some huge plays. He makes a lot of catches, gets some yards. But when you watch guys like DeAndre Hopkins, when you watch guys like Devontae Adams, when you watch them, Justin Jefferson, and you see the impact that they have on the game, you're seeing these guys go out here 200 yards this game, 150 this game, 3 touchdowns this game. We don't see that type of stuff from Amari Cooper. Can he do it? I absolutely believe he can, but we haven't seen it. So I believe it's on Kellen Moore to make sure they put him in that position to be the best receiver possible, especially since he's making $20 million a year.
Is he the best receiver in the game right now? I would say no. I would say no right now, but I think he's going to be able to prove that he's at least top 3 this year. He maybe even top 1. And look, I need him to be, because he's on my fantasy team, all right? So I need him to ball
Church
out.
said top 1.
But we can't. I said what I said.
You said top 3 and possibly so
he could be the best.
So remember those guys we named, okay? We named the Hopkins, we named the Adams, we named Justin, I'm just okay.
I think he can do it. All right? I think this guy is a baller. Now, can he eat, because we have, Lamb, Gallup, Zeke, Jarwin, all those guys in there? That's going to be the toughest part to me, because I think this guy, we can't underestimate coming into a season fresh. Like, this dude basically didn't have any training camp except for the last maybe week or two. He went out there and ran some rounds, played a series or two in that tune-up preseason game. So he's coming in here fresh, and we've seen the highlights of what he's doing to boys in practice. All right, he destroyed my man Kelvin Joseph. They put him all on Twitter, all on social media. My guy's one of the best route runners in the league. All right, that's
I would
a given.
say the best.
Yeah, the best. That's one of the things he's the best at. And 5 out of the last 6 years, he's gone over 1,000 yards, and that's with the guys that he's eating with right now. So to me, he has the opportunity to prove that he's the best in the National Football League. And I believe this year his connection with Dak, because when they both came back in the last portion of camp, we saw he was the one that was getting highlighted. He was the one that was catching all these passes, these money down passes from Dak. So I think their connection going into this season is going to prove dividends, and I think he's going to jump from maybe being a top 10 receiver to maybe being a top 3.
I'm glad you said that, man, because I think that's where things get a little lost in translation with Amari Cooper. Yes, the man gets a lot of catches. He gets a lot of yards. But at the point in the game when he's making these catches and getting these yards are not the same as some of these big-time guys.
I understand.
We've seen on multiple occasions where it's been 4th and whatever, 3rd and whatever, got to have it down. Amari Cooper is not the target. We've seen this repeatedly on those other teams. The target is going to be DeAndre Hopkins.
Is that Amari Cooper's fault, or is it Kellen Moore's fault in that situation?
I would say both. But if you're open and you're making those type of plays and you got that kind of momentum going into that, the quarterback's going to find you. And he wasn't even in the game on one fourth down when JG was here. He wasn't even in the game.
I think he'll really be tested, obviously, this week because he's going against Carlton Davis, I think, and he's a shutdown corner. So I think we'll see what Amari Cooper can really do tomorrow.
It's an away game.
It's first game of the year in Tampa Bay.
Church brought it to my attention that somebody disappears on away games. That's all I'm saying.
That was 2 years ago.
Okay,
that was 2 years ago, and we do know he was a monster at home. He was a monster, but in away games, he kind of faltered a little bit right there. But I don't think that's going to happen this year. I got all faith that Cooper and Dak, they're going to have this connection. And look, we'll see CeeDee Lamb take that next step. And I think the casualty about this is going to be Gallup. I think that's going to be the casualty because Lamb going to get his targets. He's going to get his balls. Cooper going to get his. Lamb, I think he might be the only one out right now.
Well, this is going to be the final season we see all 3 of them together.
Without a doubt.
For sure. Who has the real big 3 out of these 2 teams?
Tampa Bay. I got to. Hands down.
Yeah, I would say so because, unfortunately, because of Gallup. I mean, when you have Antonio Brown.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
You have Antonio Brown, and then you also have Godwin. You also have Mike Evans. I think those 3 are better than the Amari Cooper, the CeeDee Lamb, and then the Michael Gallup.
But you said just Gallup brings it down. So you don't think CeeDee Lamb?
I absolutely think that CeeDee Lamb is comparable to Godwin. Absolutely.
Ooh.
Absolutely. Ooh. CeeDee Lamb's all over the field. He does more. He runs reverses. He runs speed sweep. He runs from the slot. He plays outside of number 1, and he's productive.
Does it as well.
He's productive at every position. And I think this season, unfortunately for you and your fantasy team, that CeeDee Lamb will be getting a lot of those looks, taking some away from Amari Cooper as well.
I don't know.
Well, we haven't seen Dak since a long time, over a year now, and it hasn't been a year because when did he go out?
He's been out 333 days.
Week 6 or week 5. Yeah. He didn't play any preseason. How do you guys expect him to look early on in the game?
I think he'll be a tad bit rusty. I mean, because like he said, he had no preseason, and even in camp with that shoulder injury, it kind of hurt him. He wasn't able to throw the ball as much as he wanted to. So I think he'll be a tad bit rusty. I think there'll be 2 things that kind of affect his game. I think it'll be the chemistry between the receivers and just the timing. Because sometimes you got to be on that back foot, boom, throw that ball right on 3-step drop. And I think the timing and the chemistry with the receivers will be a little bit off. And he may have the yips a little bit. Now with the yips, I mean, this is the first time he has live bullets,
right?
Since the injury. So guys are gonna be flying all over the place trying to hit him, going low on his legs. He might have the yips. It might be, I gotta get this ball out of my hand quicker than he needs to. But I do think that he'll relatively fast. I think he'll shake that away. And maybe towards the second half or maybe even week 2, I think he'll get back to his regular self.
I think Dak Prescott comes out and he looks fresher than ever. And he's throwing the ball.
So fresh and so clean.
Yes, making the right decisions, not doing anything too crazy and forcing. I think he's ready to get back out there and prove, like he said, that this is the comeback year. Last year was a tough year for him. This year shows everything that he went through, all the work that he put in to be the player that he is. I don't think he's scared of those guys rolling down on the list.
think he'll be pressing.
I don't think
he'll be pressing to be like, I got to make plays. Like I got to live up to this contract. I got to.
No, I don't think he's going to be pressing. I think that Jerry and Steven also have let Kellen and McCarthy know that the smartest way to get this guy back into real playing shape is to run the ball first down. Get him in some third and shorts.
I agree.
Make some easy throws, some slants, some curls. Make those type of throws so he can get ready and get back into being the player that he was before he got injured.
We got to lean on Zeke. We got to lean on him. Early in the season, we got to lean on Zeke. And it is not just turn around and run the ball. It ain't just turn around and run. Get him out there in space. Let him go one-on-one with their linebackers. Draw up some screens, check down, something like that. Because we gotta lean on him. He's a beast. He's one of the best backs in the league. Until Dak Prescott gets back, we gotta lean on Zeke.
He wasn't last season, so I hope he is this season. I definitely think he came, beginning of camp, all cut up, looking good, looking like he's been working out. So I think he's really gonna have a good season. He needs to have a good season. We need him to have a good season. Really quick, any predictions?
Yep, here we go. Yeah, we got to, because we're gonna start off with my man Nui. Nui wanted to make sure that we got his picks.
This is true.
Said out loud on the show. Okay, he has Tampa Bay winning 34-21. Dallas Cowboys getting beat by 13 points. That's what Nui has. He also has us down for a 9-8 season, but McCarthy winning the NFC East.
What you got, Britt?
I mean, the NFC East is always close. We either all suck together or we're all good together. So I would say something close like that, or, maybe a 10-7. It's hard to say even 10-7 now because we added that extra game. I'm like, 10-7, that don't even sound right. I think we're going to have a winning season. I think we're going to do great. The game, I mean, I think Tampa's going to win. I'm not going to say any, I don't think we're going to cover the spread, but 7.5, right?
Yeah. So you think we're getting beat by more than 7.5?
Slightly, maybe.
Okay. I say I won't be by myself on this one. What you got, Church?
For the score, for the game, I'm going to get, it's going to be closer than a couple people think, but I don't think they'll cover the spread. I think it'll be 31-21 Tampa Bay 10. For the game. Yeah, I think I got Tampa Bay winning by 10. And then for the season, we'll win the NFC East. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna go with Britt on this one. I'm gonna say 10-7 as well. But we'll win the NFC East.
Okay, listen. I'm going closer than y'all, okay?
Okay.
I got 31-27 Tampa winning. Tampa's going to win the game. Okay. It's going to be a very close game. We're going to come down in the last drive.
What about his defense?
We just might not be able to score. I said we might struggle a little bit. We might struggle a little bit. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game for both because their defense is good. We're going to put up 27 on them.
That's a tough task.
So, and I did have us winning 11 games before, Zach Martin started going out and got to deal with COVID, and Lael got his shoulder and all that stuff. So I'm sticking with 10-7 too, but I do have us winning the NFC East.
I do want to go back to last week real quick. That defense thing you were saying, that's not part of a bet for me. Just FYI.
What do you mean?
When you said the top 10 defense.
So you don't want to bet?
That's not a bet. Like, you were like forcing me into picking one or the other, and I'm not confident enough to make a bet. That's not how I do bets.
Oh, I was seeing if you wanted to.
I just wanted to make sure.
I want to see if you wanted to get involved in the bet because Nui and Church are already involved. I want to see if I had 3 bets. But if you listen, because you lean.
Unless I know for sure I'm not. That's why I don't lose bets.
Yeah, you just okay. Listen, I get it.
I just want to clear it up before the season starts.
I get it. You're leaning more toward the top 10 defense. I get it.
I'm in the middle. But thanks, guys, so much for tuning in to the Players Lounge. I'm Britt Johnson, Barry Church, Danny McCray. We will see you guys on Friday? Maybe Friday.
Cooper.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?